Hello, thank you very much for that. Hello, yes. Yes, I'm honored. I'm InsertLogic. I'll be happy to run Kingdom Bridge of Spirits for you. And to my side, I have someone who I helped commentate their run as well. I'm very happy to have here is actually Dessa. Dessa, please.
Still awake, still running. I'm Dessa. I ran Recoded early on stream 1, and now I'm going to help Logic commentate his fantastic Kina Bridge of Spirits run on stream 2 right here.
Yes, I'm very excited for this run. I did submit an incentive for this game. I'm just curious, how did that incentive do?
Right, so we did have an incentive for the hard mode, and it did get met.
Ooh,
so that's what's going to happen, right?
Very nice. Yes, indeed. Okay, that is a big jump. Okay, so originally the submission was for story, but thanks to the generosity of you guys, we are going to be jumping to expert. There are a lot of handicaps for expert. Dessa and I will gladly explain that as we go. But yeah, I think on that note, we'll be good to go. Time will start. Thank you. Time will start on the selection here. Nice.
Let's go.
Yes. So just to summarize the game, if no one's played it, this is an action RPG where you play as Kina, who is a spirit guide. The spirit guide's role is to help guide the sadly passed to the other side to rest peacefully. However, there are some souls and spirits who will just not go peacefully and will revel in their hatred and bitterness of how things ended in life and cause problems for the area around it. And that is why we are deployed to this village to help clear everything up. It's a very fun game, a bit biased, but I 100% recommend it. And yeah, I'm actually going to pass it immediately to Dessa because I'm not ready for this part. This is going to be rough for me.
Well, good thing it's a speedrun. We'll be able to rescue those souls and be back for dinner.
Oh, yes, sir.
So, right here we immediately have like pretty much the hardest trick in a run, which is nice that it's at the very beginning. We'll pulse real quick, which is a little like the shield that we saw, which activates our movement. We'll reload the save immediately because that gives us free range of camera. Hey, yo! So that trick is the hardest trick in a run. He made it look super duper easy because he did it a bunch of times already.
Oh, come on, kid. No,
you got the first step.
I got the hard. There we go. Okay, I'm over.
There we go. So, I'm going to quickly go over what just happened. So, if you roll into a sloped surface, preferably like a really steep sloped surface, we can do something called roll in air, where Kina accelerates in an extremely fast way, meaning we can gain a lot of height with that. You saw her just soaring into the sky, and with another double jump attached right at the end of it, we're able to barely clear the gap to a hole in the ceiling, because this is basically the tutorial area. It saves like 2 minutes skipping it right away. And yeah, you'd be introduced into general combat, just like the game in itself a little bit, how it works, how it flows. And yeah, we just managed to skip all of that tutorial stuff and immediately be able to progress. The thing about all those out of bounds and like progression skips is that you still want to kind of be in line with what the game expects you to do, because not everything is loaded in and you still have story triggers to meet, meaning that we will go out of bounds, but like basically just walk on the sidelines to actually just enjoy the series from outside.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I did not expect to get the trick that quick. There's a lot to
practice.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk to go through. Basically, this is the tutorial area. A little further, we actually collect rots, our cute little friends right here. These are the companions of the run. The gimmick of it is they are your level up bar. You have to collect a certain amount to level up and get stronger. And you saw me use my camera and put myself in a weird spot. I'm actually going to open the chest that I was just by. And if you heard there, you heard the sounds. And I actually just overlaid 2 cutscenes at the same time and got 2 rots at the same time. This is amazing to just not go super far out the way for that one chest and to skip a rock collection cutscene, which is pretty huge. But yeah, this area is just a way to show how the rock can be hidden. You know, they can be under rocks, in bushes, in totems, like hidden in these little crevices like here. And it just serves as an area to show. But we actually do want these 5 rot. These 5 rot are like huge for the run altogether and how things will add up later. During that movement, I actually hit that autosave there, which actually saved my position, but didn't bother to save my amount of rot or any other real abilities or equipment in the game. So those autosave warps are basically like in your pocket fast travels that help us just get from A to B very quickly if I just take the right route to line everything up.
Right, so right here you saw something that Logic will do for a little bit more often in a run, where he aims in the middle of his jump to gain a little bit extra height, and that'll be just enough to clear some gaps that he otherwise wouldn't be able to clear just yet. Maybe like for other means later on. It'll just help him to either get a little head start on some of the puzzles or just straight up skip into unintended terrain, like we're going to see it right here, for example. There, we're just going to jump on the wall, go up here, and then we already have our first little boss fight upcoming. It's still kind of acting like as a tutorial, because we haven't seen all of the combat things yet. We've seen like nothing of it because we skipped all of it.
Yeah,
but like, we're going to see this one partially. We're going to be introduced into guarding, which slows down the game because you like need to get a feel for it, of course. But if you just guard and release the guard immediately, the enemy does not like etc. He still just goes in with slow motion until he hits you or gets it. So it easily allows us to set up our little quick kill here. We just hit him a little bit, hit him a few times. And that's the fight. We basically just really abused that slowdown at the very beginning with the guard tutorial, and that allows us to...
It's clean house, basically, yeah. So this is going to be a bit of a boring movement. I'm going to do one trick, which just skips the intro card. In that time, it would be great to get some donations in.
Absolutely. We have a $42 donation from Sparks. And I think this is a reference to the previous run. Here, have $3 for every minute overestimate, just to reinforce your failure. And then there's some smiley faces. Love you all. Thanks for the amazing event and running a game that I have loved since I was just a wee lad. Greetings from Germany. Thank you so much for that donation.
We can get one more in if that's okay as well.
Amazing. Thar donates $50 saying, "Yo, Logic, let's get it. I'm glad this run is at a reasonable time for me to watch in the US. Shout out to you and Dessa on comms, as well as Jida and Den in the audience." Thank you so much.
Thank you, Thar. An absolute hero in our friend group and just in general with a lot of marathons. He's insane. For the I did a lot of movement, a lot of skips, and we're currently technically out of bounds, technically inbounds. The game wants us to go into the center to defeat the enemies, which unlocks our hub. I'm going to ignore that completely for the whole run and get this waypoint instead. This waypoint is actually very important for our route and how we're going to string together movement, but we'll cover that later.
Yeah, it acts like a little anchor, as you mentioned, because we will need to return to that point. It's not necessarily because like something specific happening. It's just like very close, and it allows us to skip the hub because there's a lot of stuff tied around it, and we really don't want to deal with that.
Yeah,
we have other means of going fast
for sure. Right here, I'm actually doing a really cool skip to get from the waypoint back to the center, and then past the gate that blocks you until you beat chapter 1 and 2. It was a lot to unpack. I'll do my best to do it as quickly as I can. I did a jump reset, which once per load of a save, you're able to swing in the air, and the game, after 2 seconds, will think that Kina is grounded for some reason. We never figured out why, but if you jump within like the half-a-second window that this happens, you're actually able to get a jump reset, which lets you progress and jump over the Kool-Aid Lake, we call it, you know. And the skip to get to chapter 3 was basically me rolling into the wall and holding L2. It took us a while to figure out that you can hold L2 to just make it very easy to string the rolls together. And when we found out, we felt pretty silly.
Yeah, before that was like a super difficult task to string those rolls together because you had like a very small window of time to make it count. Otherwise, you'd have to sit for the entire animation. Turns out if you hold L2, that window is ginormous.
Yeah,
like you can almost just mash it out.
Yeah, it's very easy at that point. We confused the game a lot just then. Basically, it thinks we're in chapter 1. We should be in chapter 1, but we just did a chapter 3 check. And now it's like really confused. It doesn't know what to give us. And so this is where the game starts freaking out a little bit. And we have Dash, which is a speedrunner's bread and butter. And we'll be using it a lot. I'll be going to the first big glitch of the run. Mind you guys, this isn't the major glitches category. This is actually... PMI and VHless, which is photo mode interception and voidless hyperdash. Those two phrases don't mean much for this run, but it's important to know that this isn't the worst glitch we have, which is called a hyperdash. There we go, beauty. So that hyperdash is basically I pause and open the camera at the same time. I do this because the buttons, it basically skips an input that I need to do. And then I have Kina strike a pose, which is the, a cutesy little thing. She'll strut stuff. And when this happens, momentum and movement is locked on Kina, which means that if we are, say for example, dashing very fast, then that dash will be carried. and we will just fly. There is a timer to how far we can fly, but we set it up in specific spots to always get caught on something, which will help us like reset and break out of it. You're unable to get out of the hyperdash animation unless you get hit by certain enemies or you time out. I used this corruption right here to break out of it, which is a very, very common trend throughout the run.
Alright, now we're coming up to the second boss fight, which is the Mask Maker, like the first, I would say, really difficult fight of the run, because the idea is that we want to kind of get him into this corner, and then just, at first, just deal a little bit of damage while we set everything up. We want him to back up a little bit, just to make sure that he's really tucked in there. And then we want to abuse his line of sight, because obviously he's not able to see behind him. So what we're going to do is we're going to position him in a way that he faces away from us, and then we run around him. So we can just continuously attack with charged heavy attacks until he's defeated, best case scenario. It can happen that he breaks out because there are like lots of particular timings to that. It might look easy, but it's actually really difficult to keep that stomach up. It's very tight.
Oh dear.
So now...
Back up. Alright, this is fine. We're backing up.
Back up.
Jesus, okay. So, yeah, this fight, like Dessa mentioned, is really tough. You want to kind of catch him from behind. I was unable to, so I got a pretty rough stagger. Still saved it very well. And, yeah, as you can see, Expert is no joke. I got hit by 1 attack, and I was at 1 HP, which you can't get killed unless you're at 1 HP, and I got put that instantly. So, it's very dangerous. This is a very, very scary category if you get caught out.
Correct. So, yeah, overall, we basically just want to make sure, even though the combat has like all kinds of things we want to do, we basically just want to try and make sure to get those heavy charge attacks in, because they are the strongest move we have right now, at least. We will get to other moves, but I didn't see it do it like that before, but
yeah,
I guess that works as well.
Yeah, I wanted to be a bit cheeky and try an optimization that I've a little bit rough with. Sadly, no dice, but this has been a very good run so far. Honestly, I'm very happy with this. Okay, very nice. Ooh, go on. Yes, there we go. Okay.
No dealer or timer, I guess.
Yeah.
Then
so this the hyperdash, I have to do it at very particular times, because it's very, very tough to get the right speed for a lot of optimizations and just making the distance. That would have been bad if I forgot that again.
Look, you did actually.
I actually remembered. Oh
wow.
my god! And right before this fight starts, we can squeeze in 1 donation.
Absolutely. We have a $10 donation from Bibaline. Good luck on the run, Logic. Jersey Speedrun is contributing to a great cause. Less than 3.
Yes, thank you. Represent.
Alright, so the Warrior, our third boss fight, he is in principle very easy. If you attack him a few times, he's able to guard it, and then he comes up with a counter attack. What we're trying to do is we're going to abuse the elevation in this terrain, so we're going to position him in a way that he's quite a bit higher than Kina, because if he guards, he does not cover the entire area. If we're low enough, we can swoop just under that guard to still make sure to hit him. And if we keep hitting him with charge attacks, he will continuously stagger. We also got the so-called Rod Hammer, which is this special move right here. This creates a shockwave as soon as Kina slams her staff into the ground. And wherever that shockwave is, which is at the right peak of the pick at the front of that stuff, a shockwave will emit as well. Both of them count as hitboxes that can hit the enemy, and we want to try to basically connect with both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, I got the worst case. I was too high and then too low to sadly show that off. But yeah, that was still a very good fight. As you mentioned before, it's very easy for fights to kind of go just haywire, especially on Expert when you have to hold very tough loops for a very long time. But yeah, now we're taking using this Waypoint, but we're actually not for the thing you might think. We're actually unable to get the last relic we need. This is Toshi's Relics, and so Toshi is the boss of Chapter 3, and we've beaten 2 of the Chapter 3 bosses, but we are unable to get the 3rd until we get a bow. Bow is the equipment we get for activating the Chapter 1 crest, which we'll be going out of our way to get now. And just for this little bit of movement, another donation would be great.
Coming right up, we have a $5 donation from Chetza. Hey Logic, good luck on the run. Hopefully Sweden has been fun. We missed you, baby boy. XOXO.
Love you, Chetza. So yeah, this is a very nice bit of out of bounds here, which skips a fight and actually skips much more later. So it was actually very clean out of bounds, I'll be honest with you. And I'm going to get back inbounds at this little cubby right here. we got back into bounds early enough for the game to realize where we are to load the story triggers for this area, but too late for the game to realize that we need to actually interact with the story things here. So there's this like really cinematic thing about Chapter 1. I won't say much in case I spoil the game, but yeah, we need to activate the crest to progress Chapter 1, but because we did the movement we just did, the game is just going to let us walk free, and we're able just to waltz on through and just carry on.
So, as mentioned, we are now doing Chapter 1 to get the bow, and we already did Chapter 3 at the start to get the dash and defeat the first 2 out of 3 relic bosses. What you might be realizing is that we never mentioned Chapter 2. That's because we never even stepped foot into Chapter 2. The Chapter 2 gives us a usually crucial ability, the bomb, and it's mandatory to progress the game normally. However, we have ways to avoid the, I think, like, in the end, like 2 major cases where we would have to use it.
Yeah.
With the route that we're taking. And both of them are kind of spectacular in their own way. One is a little more subtle, but the other one, like, honestly, you're gonna love it. And I'm very much looking forward to explain that one.
Yeah, I'm very excited to show that off. So right here, I'm actually going to be trying to go out of bounds again. Going to be launching myself with roller nose, as I mentioned. And yeah, we spend a lot of time out of bounds, and we try to get as much use out of it as possible. So right now, I'm going for bow, and the game expects us to go through a lot of loopholes, a lot of story-specific things. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, that's...
I've not seen that yet.
Yeah, something we mentioned earlier in the run where you have to be very careful where you walk, because if you walk just a little too far on the wrong way, the world will just delete itself underneath you. So yeah, we're going to do another hyper dash here, and I want to pause at the right time here to load this rock. Oh my...
Nice map.
Thank you. I just had to see where I was going, you know, you have to understand.
And make sure you know where you're out of bounds.
Oh, of course, yeah. Look at this beautiful architecture. I love it. Oh, it's
My house there.
So yeah, we very particularly did all this movement to get into this little rock right here, and we're actually going to be going out of bounds again to be skipping a mini-boss and a boatload of movement. And yeah, this looks a bit bizarre. This is not meant to be here.
Love that PS1 texture right there.
Yeah, this is not meant to be here. The game, I feel bad. The game is trying its best, but we're like, no, we gotta go. Like, we have places to be, we gotta go. And the game's like, wait, hold on, we have to bring it back. We have to get rid of this wall.
That's also save.
Yeah.
I think we found Mr.
All right, I'm gonna do a cheeky load here, which might seem a little bit weird, but we are not meant to have dash this early, and that is actually to our detriment. Because if you dash and bolt all the way forward, you actually have the potential to crash the game, because the game is just not ready to have you in that area yet, so it needs to load things in. So I load the save, just to make sure everything's loaded in, all the animations play as normal, and then... Oh my...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
beautiful.
That's why I loaded 100%. I made sure everything was correct, everything was perfect, and no comment.
I don't even want to know what happened.
Yeah,
You wouldn't load it.
I've never seen that in my life. I've never seen that before. I'll be honest with you, I've never seen that. But you know what? I mean,
So yeah, moving on. Hunter.
Oh man, this game, I love it so much.
So yeah, this is like the first case, or the first scenario where we'd use the bomb. You usually have to blow up these rock formations and create a new rock formation, because this one isn't suitable for us, so we generally wouldn't be suitable for us, and we'd have to create a pathway that will lead us to the next part. Luckily, we're able to, even with regular movement, to scale these rocks, and that allows us to pretty much instantly enter the Hunter arena once we weave around a little bit out of bounds. To spawn this final relic boss, the Hunter, which is I think the 4th boss it was.
Whoops.
We have to...
There we go. I missed
Snapper
the
days have been a while, huh?
Yep. my Black Ops days are long behind me, I'm afraid to say.
So yeah, we need to hit those 6 targets, then the Hunter boss spawns. Hunter is a very notorious fight in this game, because this one can go like all kinds of ways. The other ones we kind of had control over. This one we can still have control over, but it's a lot harder, because Hunter basically has 2 modes, a passive and an aggressive mode. If Hunter is aggressive, it'll charge towards us, and we can parry that like this.
Oh, well. The wrong way.
Never mind. Oh wait, shit. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Very nice.
And in the passive state, it'll just float around, and the way to stagger there is to shoot the mask. So we always have a way to stagger him, but it's like reactionary based. You have to see what he's doing and react accordingly.
Oh, that was so crisp.
Hey.
That was very nice. Oh,
Nice.
that was good.
Okay.
That was really good. The window of timing there, you can't always shoot Hunter's Mask to stagger her. You need to wait a single attack before it unlocks again. And I waited until just that shot went off, because the moment she fires that last shot, she's vulnerable.
And yeah, that was the last relic boss, and now we can pretty much already go towards the end of the story. We're now coming up to, like, from what I see, my favorite fight in this game, the Corrupt Toshi. Because this one is like kind of akin to how action game fights work, or how they even optimize in speedruns. Toshi is like a little dance. If you put pressure on him, he becomes a lot more predictable, and you have to, you basically have the ropes in your hand. You're able to direct the fight a certain way. But if you let go of that pressure, if you let him pressure you, the fight can go any way. Like, you will leave it up to chance what'll even happen. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna attack him twice, he'll parry twice, and wind up a counterattack. And instead of preparing to dodge the counterattack, we'll use that time to charge a heavy attack, and then we dodge it, basically to just optimize as much damage as possible. And while we're at it, I'm also going to explain a little mechanic that has been used a little bit. On the bottom left, you see a fill, and currently on the way to being filled, golden orb, and those are our special charges. We used them every now and then before, but in combat, they used to use our rod hammer right here, because that's our main way of dealing damage. So if you have one of those special charges, which fills up by just hitting the enemy a bunch of times, we are able to use that stronger attack.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack, and we mentioned when we were practicing for the run, like, we really have to try and get everything out, so Des has done a very good job so far explaining everything, because I know damn well I would not be able to do the fight and be able to be like, also, by the way, this is all this, that. I would not be able to do it.
And now we're already at the final boss, so this one takes a little bit. This is what happens if you don't take care of your rods. They will turn into this. Every little weak point that he has free HP, basically, free hits, and it breaks. And we're trying to break this weak point on his arm in a particular way to do this. He's AI frozen right now, and gives us a lot of...
Okay, I'm actually going to quickly load that. Yeah, 100%, listen, it's, you know...
Alright, so coming up here is the final boss fight.
Final boss of the fight, yep.
So this is what happens if you don't take care of your rods. Into this. And the boss has 3 weak spots. Okay, I already went over that, but yeah, we want to AI freeze him and make sure to break free of his weak spots, because that'll initiate the next phase of the fight. And it basically alternates between where we're right now and like, not even alternate reality, just like a different world kinda, where we're faced with other challenges. And right here, we're basically forced to defeat some waves of enemies, mostly consisting of a few little bees flying around. We take care of those first, and then we have some foot soldiers that we take care of. Usually 2 charged heavies and a weak attack do the trick. This is the first wave, second wave, a few more flying critters. Okay. And some more land, grounded enemies that we take care of. These are like kind of basic enemies, but we are playing on expert and we skip a lot of the game, so these fights are still super scary. We luckily have that second chance ability where if we get hit and we have more than 1 HP, we still survive, which might even come in handy here, because right here we have 2 more flying enemies, 2 foot soldiers, but we're gonna take care of one of them and then focus the big boy here.
Oh dear, I don't want you. Please move.
Because we want to make sure that the Wood Knight is staggered. Because if he has free reign to attack, that bad news bears. So
Yeah.
what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get behind him, or at the very least keep our charged heavies up to make sure that he gets hit a lot.
Oh, my brother, please! No!
Then foot soldier 7, none of that. Okay, nice. Alright. So dash attacks are also able to stagger the enemy, but we don't have them as frequent.
Okay, I think I have him here.
Alright. He's kind of facing the...
Nope, no, I think I have him. Jeez.
Okay, nice.
Oh
Very
my
good, very good.
God. Oh, man.
Now that these waves have been dealt with, our rods are partially returned to us, which is very nice, because we also got an ability earlier called Enter the Fray. Usually you start combat without one of those special ops. Now we have this special op, which is crucial, because it allows us to take care of this last phase of the fight later. But right now we still have a few more weak spots to take care of. again, just 3 weak spots. Once we got those, we get sent into that alternate realm again. Which that is when, honestly, my favorite part of the run is going to happen, and it explains, or it shows so much about how games even develop to some degree. We're going to see that in a second. It's a little hard to tell where the weak spot is with all the corruption going on.
Yeah, it's... I'm going to have to scream real hard for this one.
Oh, there
we are.
One more.
Oh, okay. This is fine. Oh, you smooth criminal.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so now we initiate the next phase where usually you would have to use the bomb. But luckily, you guys remember the hyperdash? We're able to cover, deal with great distances. We're going to align ourselves with the environment with this little rock and then hyperdash. But with most games, if you have like similar looking rooms, you're just getting teleported between different like positions. And all these challenge rooms are confined in the same space. They're just different locations. So we can actually dash from the previous location to this one and just complete it because we already finished with that, which skips that entire segment. Now Enter the Fray comes to play because now we can remove those spears from his back. Woo!
There it goes.
There it goes. Woo! If we wouldn't be able to do that, this would drag on for way longer. And now Corrupt God is gonna disengage a little bit. We would actually have time for a donation.
Fantastic. Thar donates another $25. Also, shout out to Lexi, Merkas, and Eva in the audience. My bad, friends. Thank you so much, Thar.
So yeah, those flying enemies are spawning in again. We're dealing with them real quick, and then the Corrupt Rock God comes back into play. From this point onward, the fight is basically a little game of manipulation. So there is something we like to call action count. Every single thing that Rock God does is +1 to the action count. Whether, hey, you got it. There we go.
That flew as well.
You could have just put down the controller if you wouldn't have.
If I missed that, I would have stopped the run. I would have quit.
Everything that Rock God does counts as an action. Spinning, turning around, walking, initiating a sprint, his little cute laser beam of doom. Everything counts as an action. We're trying to manipulate him in a way that he does as much as possible in as little time as possible. Because once he has done enough actions, the last spear will basically be able to be dislodged. And that's when we're done with the fight right now. Good.
Nice.
All right. Clean.
Very
try?
Clean. Yeah, honestly,
first try?
First try, Rock God, I'm so happy I was able to get that. Honestly, never a sweat, never wrong.
And after an exciting fight like that, we now have the last little thing to do, because, yeah, we're actually coming up to the end of the game now.
Yep, and actually we can squeeze one more donation as well, just for the Senpai.
Great. We have $25 from Primo. Awesome run so far. I have this game on my 2 playlists since release, but could not find the time to do so. Is this played on current patch? Greetings from Germany.
This game is not on current patch. However, current patch key in a Bridge of Spirits is an excellent experience. I would still highly recommend it. And if you did want to speedrun, current patch has a bunch of New Game Plus categories, which are completely new and so fresh in comparison to these New Game categories. So I would still highly recommend it in both ways. And we have time coming up once the screen plays a black on this Empire here.
And time.
So this is okay. This is kind of crazy. I knew this run was good, but I didn't think it was this good. I actually just got world record for this category.
Hey, let's go.
Oh my god. So wow, I'm like shaking, dude. Oh my god. Okay, so
honestly, it was pretty good.
Honestly, okay. Let me explain the process really quick if I have the time. We were practicing this run today. The first trick took like 10-15 tries to get.
Yep.
My fights were a little bit sloppy. Like my movement was like okay, and I was like, you know what? Okay, well, you know, if I get my estimate's pretty nice, you know, maybe I'll be fine. And then I sit down in this chair, almost first try, out of bounds. Very good boss fights. If you forget what happened with Rock God. And
no, what do you mean? It was first try.
Very true. And my movement was crisp. And I'll be honest with you, I am like, I could not have asked for a better run. I could not have asked for a better commentator. I could not have asked for a better crowd. Thank you guys so much.
Go, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much for that run. That was really cool to see. Don't go anywhere because we have a distance run coming right up after a short intermission. So I'll see you back soon.